Y'all remember that video from years ago where it was this girl named Sharkeisha and the way she just smacked this girl and the sound that it made? This is Sharkeisha 2025. Let me shut up and let's just go ahead and get right into the video. Here's the intro, y'all. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Talk the Real Deal with AT2. And yes, I'm your boy AT2. How everybody doing? How everybody living? How everybody feeling? So full disclaimer, I already watched the video. However, Live Action, who's the network that Savannah Craven, the journalist who got two-pieced, well, they released the uncut footage because Brianna J Rivers, that's the woman who's the attacker, right? She had released a statement saying that, she was antagonized and she wanted them to release the full video. So the full video is 20 minutes. We're going to watch that together. But the clip that has been going viral was only like a couple of minutes. This is what Brianna, who's the attacker, said to Savannah. I sincerely apologize, but cannot sit around and allow you to continue pushing this one-sided narrative. I understand hands being put on someone is never the answer, but throwing rocks and hiding hands is worse. She knows the truth and she needs to release the footage in its entirety. Savannah is professional antagonist, not a reporter, and the truth will be told. Now, I did look up Savannah. She's not like one of those big people on social media. She is a YouTuber, but she does do the rage bait content. And what I mean by that is that she does the street interviews and try to ask people antagonizing questions. Now, Savannah didn't come off like she was didn't come off like she was trying to come off harsh or antagonize her. It wasn't until the end when she started saying certain things, that's when the girl gave her that two-piece and a biscuit. But not only that, I'm going to go back to Brianna. Brianna was a bad debater. As soon as Brianna seen the way it was going, Brianna just said, hey, I'm done with this interview. I ain't doing this no more. But she continued and fed into the narrative because now this girl who wasn't a big YouTuber, wasn't a big star, her stock has just risen. She was on Fox News. She's been interviewing everywhere. Like, you kind of gave the narrative that the liberals are uncontrollable and see they're violent people and all this stuff. And it's funny that people are making this political. And it does have a political sense because it's the pro-choice versus the pro-lifer. But we don't really know her politics. We know that she's pro-choice, but we do not know her politics. We know Brianna's, she's conservative and all that, but we don't really know the girl. Like, you don't necessarily need to be a political person to be for women's productive rights, right? And I'll go ahead and get into a little later as we watch it. I'll get into what I think about pro-life and a woman's choice. Just to kind of just say it right now, I am definitely pro-choice. So that's me. Y'all probably already knew that, right? And I do want to say another thing before we watch it. I do not condone nobody getting beat up or somebody putting their hands on them. I think you can definitely use your words. I want to say that for YouTube. I don't want them to get me. But let me say what's up to the people. What's up, Kamari? What's up, Ducky? What's up, Son? How you doing? How you doing? What's up, Gina? Joy? I love seeing my members, by the way. Thank y'all. Nini, Butterfly Kisses, Shani, Wanda. Hello, hello, hello. All right, enough of me. Let's go ahead and watch the uncut interview.
We're doing some interviews today.
I love your skin tone too.
Thank you. Such a good vibe.
Of course.
Well, awesome. So we're asking people's opinion today on Planned Parenthood. Are you familiar with them?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know what they provide?
Yes. Abortions.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Safe abortions.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you know any other services that they provide?
I don't like to teens, if you're under 18, you could get like birth control, condoms, counseling. They offer a lot of, beneficial things that the youth really should use right now.
Okay. So you have a pretty positive view of Planned Parenthood.
I mean, majority. I don't know. Is this like a yes or no? Am I
It's
wrong?
your opinion.
But yeah, that is definitely my opinion. I feel like, especially as teens, people get caught up in things that they really don't want to commit to for their entire lives. So,
real quick, the thing about Planned Parenthood is that everybody automatically goes to they give smagortions, right? Well, they say it in here, abortions. I'll just say the word. I don't care about it being monetized because it's probably going to be demonetized because, yeah, the girl did get punched. But anyway, more or less, my thing with it is, okay, they give abortions there. However, nobody talks about how they do cancer screenings, birth control, all the basically it's a service all around for women. It's not necessarily like your primary doctor, but if you need to go to the clinic because they do have grants and programs, they take Medicaid, Medicare, so it does help people in impoverished areas. Now, we can also talk about the history about what's the racist lady name? She wanted to basically get rid of all the black babies. Like, we know of the history, but I mean, granted, this country has a history, so we literally would hate everything if we go based off of the history, right? So it's a conversation that needs to be had, but I'm still for women having their choice, right?
You get caught up with the wrong guy, you think you're in love, and then whoop, now you stuck. Not stuck, but you're stuck with a baby for the rest of it, this time, literally the rest of their lives and your life, if you're that kind of mother, because some women just don't have it in them and they abandon them and abuse them and all kind of shit. And it's like, girl, just get rid of it if you know you're going to do that.
Get rid of them. Why not just give them to another family that's good?
No, but exactly, even that. And that's another option that Planned Parenthood offers. So it's like, if you know that you are not the being who can provide for this child, then there are alternative options out there for you. So I think Planned Parenthood is a space that creates something that's safe for women, especially teens, Black and Latina teens, especially because it's free. You can call them, go to them. I know because I've worked with the Children's Aid Society for a long time, so we kind of aligned with them. But yeah, I feel like if, as a woman, pro-choice is your option, because men, if they want to just get up and go, they can, honestly.
They shouldn't. But...
They shouldn't. They never should. I grew up with 2 sets of grandparents and my parents, and please, everybody, lives like happily ever after, but not nobody else, but a lot of people do not experience the same kind of lifestyle or childhood that I grew up with, having 2 parents and grandparents and people to look up to and things like that. So I definitely understand why people do abort children. Don't have babies that you don't want. Don't have babies that men are telling you in front of your face that they do not want. I wish more stop doing that. Like it's like a plan to.
Why don't they just stop having sex with people they don't want to have a child with?
That too. Or to just don't have unprotected sex. Be smarter about your choices. Get on birth control. There's so many options, especially if you're like a teenager, especially in New York City.
Okay.
Children's Aid Society, please reach out to them. They do a lot of free counseling, a lot of free clinical work, STD checks, abortion, all kind of things that you can go to speak to someone about if you aren't really sure before.
Now, when Savannah, who's the interviewer, said, well, why don't they just not have sex? In a perfect world, yes, everyone should wait until marriage, wait until they are in a committed relationship. Yes, that works. However, still besides the point, because people who are married can still go and get an abortion. So does that really matter at the same time? And especially when it comes to STDs and so forth, you can be married and still have a cheating spouse that gets you caught up in some shit, right? I mean, we got to be honest about that. And granted, I hope some of y'all marriages are perfect. I hope, y'all ain't getting no diseases and stuff like that. But again, those services are there for you. It's not just to have an abortion. That's not the main thing, right?
For making the final decision. But to me, it's always pro-choice, your body, your life, because that baby is gonna be a baby.
It's a baby.
Yeah, and you're gonna have that baby
person.
So
a lot of people, Ronnie.
Do you know that Planned Parenthood gets nearly $700 million of our taxpayer money every year?
$700 million. I mean, honestly, I can't go against Planned Parenthood. I just can't. I just
You
can't.
think that's a lot of money?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a lot of money, because if we're being honest, Elon Musk, he can literally stop world hunger twice.
Sure, but we're talking about Planned Parenthood, they could stop world hunger. I mean, $700 million a year. Imagine if you made $700 million a year, where you'd be at in a decade.
$700 million for how many single mothers?
Of our money. But they're not giving it to single mothers, though.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to just, single out where it is that our tax dollars go, then the police, respectfully. They beat on us I'm a black person, as black people. They beat on us, they murder us, abuse us even now with Trump pushing the immigration deportation. That's bull. Because there's people who are here who've been immigrants 55 years, who work every single day, get up, provide for their families, and haven't seen their own.
Now, this part, I don't remember this in the original, little 8-minute clip. So, yeah, she going deep with this. Yeah, I mean, if we going to talk about where our tax dollars go, they go to a lot of places we don't want. But again, a lot of the pro-lifers, and again, if you are pro-life, I'm not judging you. That's your choice, by the way. Just like pro-choice, pro-lifer, it's your choice, right? However, the argument is always like, oh, they're using $700 million for all abortions. No, they offer other services there. And Ronnie, people still hit it raw. Trust me, going raw is going to be a thing for the rest of eternity.
Parented 30 years, and now they come to this country, they build a better life, they can't even make it to go back home. Now they're gonna get deported, they gotta leave their children. It's so extensive. There are so many other issues that we need to worry about as far as women's bodies and their rights. It's crazy. But as far as being a woman in any city or any state or any country, you should have the right to decide what you want to do. I shouldn't be forced to raise anyone's child because the state feels like this is what's beneficial. Oh, we need to be producing more children. There's such a loss in reproduction. We don't have money. There's no finances for reproduction. This is why you go and you get an abortion, because I don't have 40,000.
Just like how you said we shouldn't be forced to raise other people's kids. We shouldn't be forced to pay for other people's abortions, because half the country, they don't believe in abortions, whether that's for scientific reasons, for religious reasons. And, we should respect that, right? If you want to go get a procedure, then you should be able to pay for it.
I think more people are pro-choice. Now, in regards to the nuance of what's the time limit and how far you can be along or whatnot, I think that's the debate, but I'm pretty sure the majority of people are pro-choice. I don't think that's factual what Savannah was saying.
Agree?
Not necessarily.
Or somebody else should pay for it.
Now you put me up in the air, because saying that we're paying for a procedure is like, you want to get a BBL and my taxpayer dollars are paying for your silicone. That's different.
How is it different?
As opposed to be me being a 14-year-old girl in the Bronx who's gone through any kind of molestation, rape, anything. You really don't know what people go through. And I need to abort this baby, and I don't have the right to, or I don't have the funds to, or I don't have the means to at all. Nowhere to go. There's no Planned Parenthood. There's no Medicaid. There's no anything that's beneficial to a younger youth, especially someone who's afraid to go to their parent. You can't go through your insurance. It's a lot. So to me, there's a difference in that, because taxpayer dollars pay for police who are still corrupt, pay for doctors who should be paid more because they literally save lives every day, should go to nurses who put their lives on the line in emergency rooms, on the streets, who are literally legally obligated to do so. It's like, why aren't they getting the money as opposed to us providing the money to the billions that we just supported in the Ukraine?
Every Planned Parenthood has donors as well, because they're a 501c3. So if you want to donate to Planned Parenthood, that's totally fine. You do that with your consent. But the issue that I think a lot of Americans have is that they don't believe in abortion, or they just don't believe in paying for other people's medical business, and they're being forced to through taxpayer dollars. So it's really interesting, because since 2010, prenatal care has been down.
That's a little misleading, but we'll let her have it.
since for 80% since 2010 at Planned Parenthood. Adoption referrals. So this is why this is research straight from their yearly report of 2022 to 2023, I believe it is. And so they're a 501c3. They have to tell us what they do every single year. So this is straight.
Which should be any union corporation. If we are paying tax dollars towards you, I need to know that you are doing the job and doing it correctly.
Right. But let me continue to tell you. So the STI testing and treatment down 15% since 2019. Client numbers down overall 34% since 2006.
Nobody has insurance. I don't have insurance.
Donors down 21%. Contraceptives down 44%. Breast screenings, manual breast exams down over 80%. And you mentioned adoption. They commit 228 abortions for every one adoption referral. So why are they getting so much more money yet all of their services are going down?
The services are going down because people are afraid.
What are they afraid of?
Women don't know. They don't know what they're exposing their bodies to. A lot of people, especially behind abortion, there's a stigma.
No, I honestly don't know why the numbers are going down. I can't refute what Savannah is saying. I don't know why the numbers are going down, but I mean, the services are there. And maybe some people don't know that they offer those services because, again, what everybody says, Planned Parenthood does abortion. So a woman who probably doesn't have medical insurance or the finances to go to a regular doctor probably doesn't know that she can go to Planned Parenthood and get assistance like you do when you go to the county hospitals, right?
That if you get an abortion, you can never have a child again. So it's like a definitive decision. And this is the whole
There's
point.
a chance that you can't
because
your uterus can be perforated, but their abortions are going up. So they used to have this slogan where they said safe, legal, and rare. That's what we want, safe, legal, and rare abortions, until it was exposed that a lot of these facilities were requiring abortion quotas. So the more abortions each facility did, the more like praise that they would get awards. And so it's really interesting. That doesn't really make it seem like they want safe, legal, and rare abortions.
As a New Yorker and a woman, I will say I have never gotten an email that was promoting an abortion, that was saying if you need this,
thank you, Ola.
This is something that we offer as a city, as insurance, as any kind of taxpayer, as any kind of beneficiary of what it is that we're paying towards. So from there, it's like taxpayer money. We don't know where this money goes at all. Any of us, honestly, unless you're really into your politics and you're digging in the books. Like,
no, I'm into it because that's a lot of money being taken,
sure it's a lot
and it looks like it's going toward abortions. Which if they're called Planned Parenthood, why are they not making it so that you are planning your parenthood, not just then ending it with an abortion?
Baby, how much money is Planned Parenthood supposed to give you every month, every 2?
Now, as I understand, Planned Parenthood gives prenatal vitamins too, right? So they do help with the planning. So that's not true what you're saying.
2 months, every 3 months for a child. The child care tax doesn't even cover child care.
Well, they don't do that, but pregnancy resource centers do.
Absolutely not. You're going to get a portion of the funding that you need. Similac a can is $43. $43 for Similac. In New York City on 126th Street, you're already paying $2,500 in rent to stay wherever you are. God forbid you don't have food stamps or WIC. Without any kind of governmental support, people would literally be like offing themselves because there's nothing else that you can do.
Wow,
you can drop your child off at a fire safety to leave them.
Why don't we do that? Because there are over 2 million families waiting to adopt in America.
How many people can you think, or are you going to assume, will literally abandon their children with no repercussions from the state?
No, it's called Safe Haven Baby Boxes. We're at a fire station or hospital. You can leave your baby and the mother doesn't have to do anything with it. But that's better than killing her baby through abortion, right?
No, ma'am.
It's not better to give your baby up to a family who wants them instead of killing them?
No, ma'am. I have seen so many stories and countless, literally, like countless stories. My grandmother used to teach health and safety classes for people who wanted to become daycare providers. And we've seen so many instances where it's just I can understand. I could love you today. I love you to death. You're my baby. But as a teen mom, as a mom who's on her own, you have no support. You're constantly have to provide. You're here day to day, day and out. It's crying, it's screaming, it's crying. You have nowhere to turn to. Now I stand you up and I shake you and I kill you. When I could have just not had you in the first place because it was never my plan.
You think that teen moms who struggle will end up killing their children after they're born?
See, in this part wasn't in the original, but she was kind of saying things like, yeah, well, you know, why would you have a baby that you don't want? Why not get rid of the baby? I never even wanted it. The way she coming off, it's very New York, right? It's very aggressive, like, you know, that's how New York is. Mind you, I've never been to New York, but of course there's people from New York that's out here in Cali, right? And, you know, they all aggressive. Like, it's just real. It's real and uncut. That's what you're going to get when you deal with New York. That's it. So I don't like the language and the way she's putting it, but I see the nuance and I understand it. Y'all know what I mean, right? All right, let's continue.
Girl, I'm trying to follow along with your story here.
Saying that there's a higher percentage of people who murder their children on accident out of frustration because they don't have the support, especially in communities like this where there's no funding, where there's no programs, where we don't have
chicken baby syndrome, where they shake their baby.
It could be SIDS, but SIDS still also applies to you even laying your baby down on their back and they turn over the wrong direction. They will literally pass away.
Well, yeah, but that's like a death that, you know,
good point,
was
Nikki.
going.
It was
not. It was
not no.
But what is preventable
is death. SIDS is not preventable.
Well, actually, a large percentage of the children who die from SIDS had a vaccine the same day. So that's another thing. That's a whole other story.
That's a whole other topic with the vaccine.
But I will say to you, like
sudden infant death syndrome, and there have been over 80% of infants who have passed away from it, and it's simply from not laying your baby on their back to sleep.
And that's horrible, but I mean, 1 million babies are also dying a year from abortion.
Again, don't know that. You can die. What's the percentage of women dying from birth for children that they don't even want, or the men?
Especially Black women have a high mortality rate too, right? So that's something to think about and something to look at, because it's all like women end up risking their lives just for. Oh my God, Shani, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Sorry, y'all. You know, listen, I gotta give Shani her flowers. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I did not expect that. Thank you. Yo, Shani done blessed me. But going back to my point, Black women, we know they suffer a lot during, just from them not even, the doctor thinking they don't feel pain the same way. Remember, Serena Williams came out and said like she wasn't really taken care of and like she almost lost her life during her pregnancy. That happens to a lot of Black women. It happens to women in general, but Black women specifically have a higher mortality rate. It is what it is, right? So I can see why a Black woman might not want to risk her life or make that choice, because again, the whole late term abortion, those are in special circumstances when it is something life threatening. You just don't have a woman carrying a baby for 9 months is not going to decide not to want the baby. It has to be something extreme. So I also want to make a point to that too. What's up, Kai? I see Kai up in the building.
Don't even want, who are already refusing to provide for them prior to them even being born. So now what?
It doesn't matter if they're
a single mom or put my body through this entirely different experience to at the end of it give them up and go home like nothing ever happened. That doesn't make sense to me, as opposed to you being put to sleep, boop boop, take the baby out. It's like you start over.
You don't, because we see post-abortive women and how they deal with abortion, and their chance of turning toward drugs and alcohol skyrockets. They have problems.
What percentage is that? What percentage is that?
Well, I don't have the exact percentage, but I believe it goes up 150%.
And booty.
Brianna got her with that one. You don't even know she was like, what's the percentage? Now, it is known that women do suffer from depression after having an abortion, but that's due to the guilt that they feel for the choice that they made, right? But it's not proven like what she was saying, like they're going to become addicts and all that. Yeah, that's very skewed. You can't say that for a fact. Come on now.
Girl, and you had the facts.
Do you know what happens in an abortion?
Yes.
What happens in an abortion?
They literally suck the life out of you. They're
Right,
gonna
Lady
take the
J.
whole baby out, and as they should, because I shouldn't be a taxpayer paying child support and food stamps and WIC for
You
women
should be a
who never
taxpayer
wanted the
paying
baby.
for abortions.
Exactly, but as for a woman who didn't want the baby in the first place, that doesn't make sense to me. If you told me from the get-go, I can't do this, I don't have the funds, I make $20 an hour in McDonald's, and I live with my mother, and I'm pregnant with twins, and the father told me he doesn't want them.
Why is that the baby's fault?
Exactly my point. You think I should still follow through with this pregnancy?
Yes.
Provide. Why?
Because that baby has a life.
That's dumb. Bring 2 more kids into this world that nobody wants.
I want
that
them.
Are 80%. How? You're gonna take everybody's baby?
Yes,
that's
I
80%,
will.
baby. That
That's
are 80%
a lie.
more likely to get.
Here's the thing. I don't know the exact number, but it's very high of kids who end up aging out of the foster system because people didn't want them or so forth or whatnot. So all this, oh yeah, I'll take all the babies. Okay, well, take them now. I believe, and I tried to look up to see if Savannah had any children. I don't see that Savannah, and she is a married woman. I don't see she has any children. So I'm kind of like, okay, well, if you ain't got no kids, then start adopting some. Get you about 5 of them. 10 if you can help it, right? But people saying, yeah, I'll just adopt the babies, but ain't adopted no damn babies. Come on now. Let's be real about that.
Put into the system, molested.
Where is that
What's up,
statistic
River?
from?
Girl. With no parents, what do you think the likeliness is of you being molested? Let's Google that right now. Literally.
Okay.
Because your stats
that's not the fault of pro-lifers, though. That's the fault of people that are molesters.
People who are not pro-life. That's the
people that are not
Right,
pro-life. I want abortions.
Exactly. That's the people who are pro-life, because you can say, I don't want people molested. I don't give a fuck about you before you're here. So why would I give a fuck about you when you're born?
I care about both.
Because 98% of the time, it's the male who's gonna say, we never decided this. This was never on my plate.
You decided it when you laid down and had sex.
You're gonna turn around and decide, I'm gonna have this baby after this man already told you, I don't want this baby. I don't want to be with you. I'm not gonna provide. And you proceeded. Now he looks bad.
Yeah. So my dad didn't want me, but my mom didn't kill me just because my dad didn't want me.
But that's her choice.
No, it wasn't her choice.
That is
because
her
it's
choice.
that was my body inside of her body.
Abortion.
It wouldn't have been safe because I would have died. How is an abortion safe if a baby dies?
An embryo.
Yeah, an embryo of what?
Of nothing, really.
Of a human.
No,
it's just a stage of human development.
You do not even have any kind of limbs yet. You don't even feel physical.
Some people that are born don't have limbs. Some people that are born are paralyzed.
To know what you're doing, you need to just protect yourself if you can.
Yeah.
And honestly, don't have babies with people who don't want to have babies with you, because people.
But when you're pregnant, you already have a baby.
That you need to be pro-life, and you don't. Don't ever sit here and lock yourself down with a man who already told you he doesn't want to be with you.
I agree with you.
I'm not disagreeing with you either. I understand.
You don't get to kill the baby just because their dad didn't want them. Should we kill the kids in foster care?
So I want to say something. So again, for me, if I'm ever in a situation where the woman that I'm with decides to have an abortion, I feel like if she needs to make that choice to have an abortion, that's because something is not right between us, right? So a woman in a loving relationship, I don't know what the percentage is, but if you're in an actual relationship, I can't imagine you being all like, okay, I'm just going to get rid of the baby. I can't imagine that. Now, I will say, if you don't want a baby, then you need to use condoms, use contraceptive, use all that good stuff that you need to use so you don't end up having a baby, right? But for cases where things happen, I mean, are we going to lie here and say we never had raw sex before? I'll put y'all ain't gotta put one in the chat because I don't want y'all to put y'all business out there. I mean, well, if you had kids, yeah, obviously you had. But we ain't gonna say we ain't had no one night stand and didn't use a condom, or a situationship and we didn't use a condom. Shit happens, right? Now, is that the best? Am I saying that's okay, y'all? No, I'm not saying that's okay at all. But those situations where you had it that one time could have ended up with diseases. I didn't even think about pregnancy right now. Diseases, and then we'll get on to the pregnancies, right? So shit happens. People are human. They make mistakes. But I go back to the argument, if a woman is secure in her relationship and everything is fine, then I don't even think abortion is ever on the table. All right, let's go back to the video.
Why not? Why not? If that's the case,
we should kill the kids in foster care that aren't wanted.
Who's going to take care of them? I need to know the percentage of people who take children from foster care and abuse them and molest them, who make them like personal slaves.
You should just kill them.
Statistics before you come to me talking about pro-life.
You should kill the victims of molestation.
I think, what does this have to do with molestation?
You just mentioned people molesting children. We should kill the kids in foster care is what you said.
What I'm saying is in general, overall. If I don't want to have a baby, I should have the choice to.
Just don't have sex then. Just don't have sex.
That's not even logical.
It is.
See, I feel like they're having two different conversations because how all of a sudden we get to molest, like, huh? Because I thought she thought what Savannah Blue Dress, right? What Blue Dress said was, so you're okay with kids being molested, but then Savannah, not Savannah, Brianna, the New York woman, said something about like, yeah, who cares or whatnot? Yeah, they should be killed. Like, it got kind of wonky somewhere and they weren't hearing each other. And as I listened to this again, because this part was in the original, as I listened to it again, I'm all like, yeah, they're not even on the same wavelength right now. They having two different conversations.
It is.
Who are you, Nancy?
I sound dumb. You sound dumb. Okay.
It does, because even as teens, people explore. And it's like, as funny as you want to be, people should still have the choice. I don't give a if it's
wow.
No. Oh, it was a mistake today. Oh my God.
Do you believe in God?
Do you
believe in God? Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you believe God makes mistakes?
Yes.
He does?
Of course. Everybody makes mistakes.
But God is perfect. Are you a Christian?
I never said that.
Are you a Christian?
I would never say that.
Are you a Christian?
My family's Christian.
So you're not a Christian?
I guess.
You guess what?
Based off of
right, Nate. It's going way.
I guess my lineage is Christian. I wouldn't say that my full belief is a Christian belief. There's no abortion. You have to stay married. If you're pregnant with that man, you have to be married. There's so many like restrictions and constrictions when it comes to religion.
There's a reason for that because it protects people.
But that's dumb as because religion is all hearsay, baby. All you listening to is a Bible that somebody else told you, somebody else wrote.
Nobody told me. I've
Right. Humans make mistakes, not God. And you got to remember this. Well, you guys don't know. Savannah, the interviewer, Blue Dress, she's a Catholic. She's pro-life, very conservative, all that. And then you have this girl. She happens to be pro-choice, but now it's getting into religion and what you think and blah, blah, blah. So when it comes to abortion, it's a few different stances on it who with people who are anti or pro-life, right? Because it comes from a religious aspect. And then the other one is that you're a baby murderer. You believe in murder if you do it. So it's like two different aspects. Not everybody who is pro-life is religious, just like not every conservative, obviously with Donald Trump, is religious, right? So it comes from a different place.
I've literally encountered God.
So you spoke to God and he told you everything in the Bible.
He first spoke to me.
You sound dumb as
all right. Listen, it's coming, y'all.
There's a thing called cosmopolitanism.
The
which
two pieces
literally is
coming,
saying
y'all.
there's this one big glorious story that combines all of the religions. Because if you read the Bible, you can search into Buddhism, being a Muslim, anything that you need. They all kind of provide the same story in a different version, but it's still all hearsay. It's all hearsay. It's all, my auntie told me, my niece
My
told
auntie
me,
didn't tell me.
my auntie told me. You think these biblical writings are all just what? Off the brick? Like you can't be that naive.
There are over
Ooh.
40 men that actually wrote the Bible.
Oh my God, you one of those.
That's just the history. That's just the history.
Okay, so you guys, I have to confess something. I'm not saying that the Bible was made up. I'm not one of those people. Don't worry. But I agree that if we're going to say man is not perfect, how do we know that it wasn't left to people's interpretations? Because let's be honest, as the Bible has been translated over the years, there's been certain words that have been, we might be going too deep. Y'all might start hating me in a minute. And I'm not saying that I don't, but just, okay, perfect example. When a pastor is preaching, right? Or preacher is preaching, literally what they're giving you is their interpretation. Yes, they go theology and all that stuff, but literally it's their interpretation. Whatever church you go to, they're literally giving you their interpretation of it, right? From the Mormons, Christians, Catholics, it's their interpretation of the Bible in their minds. We can bring, I'm gonna see if I can bring Juice. Who else can I bring? Mad Church Disease, he'll be a good one. Oh, you know what? River, because he come from St. James. He a Christian too. Maybe him as well. Okay, we'll get to that subject another Sunday.
Of Jesus Christ and the Bible.
It's not. We started from Pangea.
So what does the Bible say about human life?
The Big Bang Theory. Our entire life is science and math, and I think you're an idiot if you don't think it is.
So you went from saying that my outfit was really cute to saying I'm an effing idiot. That's so mean.
But I think that
You
your
did.
point of view is very obstructed, and I think that you just don't understand the magnitude of having a child.
Yeah, well, I'm not the one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm saying.
That's really.
Y'all! What's wrong with you? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
Really cute to saying I'm an effing idiot. That's so mean.
But I think that
You
your
did.
point of view is very obstructed, and I think that you just don't understand the magnitude of
Hold on, y'all.
having a child.
Yeah, well, I'm not the one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm saying.
That's really.
Sharkeisha, no! What's wrong with you? Sharkeisha, no! Hold on, y'all. Let me. Yo! Every time I watch it, I react to it. Like, I'll tell you, this is Sharkeisha 2025, y'all. Hold on, let me do that one more time. I'll slow it down.
Well, I'm not the one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm saying.
That's really.
Boom! Boom! Ooh!
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, well, I'm not the one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm saying.
That's really.
Ooh. Oh my God. Let me go back to normal speed. Okay.
With killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm saying.
That's really.
What's wrong with you?
Okay, so I know Beverly. Shout out to you, Beverly. I don't mind. You probably will unsubscribe after I say this. But don't you be messing with no New Yorker and not expect to get your shit right. Listen, women from New York, they fight men. Why would you ever think it was okay to try to play stupid or try to antagonize this woman? You knew she was coming for your head. Again, we don't condone violence. But you are in Harlem, as I understand, they in Harlem right now. And she just... Oh. Listen. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. She... Whew. Man. Watch Republicans on white YouTuber. Oh, they've already started. And not just the white ones, the black ones have too. Man. What, not somebody said, what would you, Carmen said, what would Jesus do? I don't feel no ways tied. Damn. Like, there's a risk of doing like these street interviews. Because when you're just getting people off the street and the conversation is going to be very pretentious and you know that it's going to rouse some feathers, especially talking about abortion. You already know that it's going to... I'm trying to feel bad for Savannah. I feel bad in the point where she got punched, right? Because she didn't come with that energy like she wanted to fight her, right? But doing the whole street interview, you have to know the area and know the people that you're talking to. And you have to be able to adjust. She wasn't able to adjust at all. And she thought she would be able to say, oh, yeah, so you're okay with killing babies. And then the girl was like, that's not the point. And then that's when she gave her a 2-piece. Let's do a poll real quick, y'all. Do you feel bad for Savannah? Yes or no? Let's do it. 30 seconds. Okay, we got a few yeses in here. Okay, not at all. No, hell no. Yeah. Was on some hood prank-ish. Ugh. Yeah. To be honest, not really. Again, I do not condone violence. But also, you have to know your audience that you're speaking to. You have to know your audience. Because that whole time, they should have been cut that interview off. They should have been cut it off. And mind you, the girl's husband, Savannah, the blue dress girl, her husband is the cameraman. If anything, I feel like he should have stepped in. Well, let me say this, because some people are going to be like, AT2, you're blaming the victim. Let me say this. Brianna, the attacker, should have never put her hands on nobody, right? I'm clear. Let's be clear. She should have never put her hands on nobody, right? But when you do content like this, and especially in the climate that we're in right now, it was never going to turn out good. I'm sorry. It was never going to turn out good. The climate that we're in, and also just the topic, yeah. It was never going to go good. And again, I feel like with some of these street interviews, they like getting people who can't really articulate or debate. Because Savannah did make some good, not Savannah, Brianna, the attacker. She made some good points. Don't get me wrong. But it wasn't structured in a way where it was palatable for everybody, right? She was kind of all over the place, and then she was just rambling and saying things. But I don't think the girl was necessarily ready for a debate. She said when she first came out, she was like, "Oh, you doing an interview? I love to do an interview." And she was complimenting her on her dress and everything like that. So it started out good. But I don't think the girl necessarily was looking for a debate. She just thought she was being interviewed. She was going to be asked some questions. And then when Savannah started pushing back, and then was all like, "Oh, so you're okay with molesters," and it just went somewhere that it should not have went. Oh, what's up, Shauna? I didn't even see you in here. I'm sorry I didn't shut you out. Yeah, Savannah should have been at the debate and not to be trying. Yeah, that whole report. Because honestly, to tell you the truth, a reporter or a journalist, if you're doing like a street interview, you never really see them pushing back on the person. They're just kind of getting their answer like, "Oh, okay, oh, all right," and then they move on to the next person. But this was literally a debate. That's what it was. And for something so serious and such a sensitive topic, oh wait, what Shannon? I said, see, if you can't fight, sometimes it's best to just, yeah, I feel that way. Leave it alone. And maybe she thought, "Oh, I could get away with it because I have not been." Some people, no matter where they are, they feel safe. And you got to remember, her husband is the cameraman. So it's not like she's alone with the girl and the camera set up on a tripod. She got her husband there. So she felt safe. Again, felt is the key word. Until, Brianna hit her with that. Man. What's up, Jackie? You got to know your audience. You got to know who you're talking to. And that environment, just the time that we're in, the environment, that was not safe for you, Savannah. And now you're doing interviews. And I want to say, I think Savannah was emotionally distraught because, again, I don't think she expected to get hit. But then with Savannah doing interviews, I almost feel like, okay, now you get to raise your stock, and like people are now paying attention to you. They're looking at you. Because before, her YouTube channel was at like 6,000 subscribers. Now it's like at 12,000. So her subs have gone up. Like, and granted, listen, if I get 2-piece, I'm coming with bandages, a whole head wrap, a neck brace. Y'all, listen, I'm doing it all. But what I'm going to be clear about is I know the audience and I know how to back up, and I know, like, you have to know, and I don't want to say you need to be a punk or you can't speak your mind, but there's a way you can go about it. Saying, oh, you're okay with molestation, and say anybody is going to get pissed off. Not saying it's right for Brianna to put her hands on nobody, right? So let's talk about Brianna. As it is rumored that Brianna did end up going to jail. Savannah pressed charges on her for attacking her, rightfully so. I can't say, oh no, you shouldn't have. I mean, yeah, what she did to you, yeah, that was some. I don't know if you guys seen the picture. I know you guys seen the thumbnail, but let me show you real quick. And then there's a cut on her eyebrow. So yeah, this is the aftermath. 82, you're right. You're right. Do the right thing. You're right about that. Exactly. Yeah, antagonizing strangers is, yeah. You're right. Right, a real journalist, right. And let's be honest, the rage bait. Oh, we ain't. Why are y'all not hitting the like button? But back to JB's comment. There's a lot of content that is the whole rage bait thing and getting these street interviews. And granted, I like the street interviews that are more like comedic, funny. I like those street interviews. When it's like real shit like this, I don't like this too much. But again, I feel like the time that we're in, they know the rage bait content get people riled up. It gets the clicks and views. It gets, yeah. I mean, granted, we did not know who Savannah, aka Blue Dress, was before this. I know I didn't. I had to do research yesterday on this. I did not know who she was. Oh, I like when Don Lemon is an actual journalist. That's the difference. And he has no notoriety. So people know Don Lemon. They're like, oh, okay, that's Don Lemon. But Don Lemon wouldn't have antagonized no, he wouldn't have done that. A little pushback is okay because you definitely don't want to just accept everything that somebody tells you. But in this case, yeah, she was being antagonistic. She was. Savannah was being antagonistic, and she got what she got. I don't want to say she got what she deserved, but she got what she got. She got what she got. And again, her husband, again, it's Brianna's fault. I know it's Brianna's fault. But the husband, y'all, the husband is there, and he didn't like say, hey, we should go ahead and cut this, cut this, or, move along. We should go to the next person or find somebody else. Like, the husband is literally there. And that's why I say I feel like this was some rage bait, not clickbait, because she really did get two-piece, but rage bait content. They're like, oh, this is going to be good. Because then you're going to continue recording. And then there's another clip on Savannah's channel where they're in the car and they're like with the police and they're looking for the girl. So they make content out of this whole situation. Granted, make your money, right? Make your money. But me being there and my wife just got two-pieced and I wasn't there to help her or anything like that. Well, I was there to help her, but I didn't even stop the situation from happening. You got to feel less of a man. I'm sorry. You got to. Formerly said, right, I disagree with the hit, but she saw it coming. Yeah. Again, I'm never going to say I'm okay with her being two-piece. I'm never going to say that because, again, she didn't put her hands on nobody, so the girl shouldn't have put her hands on her. Should have been minding her business. Right. Right. um mm, Good question. Now I don't know where Savannah is from originally, but she is based out of New York. I don't know where she's from, New York, because I know some of you guys asked me, but she is based out of New York. That's where she does her interviews. It was a silent, I dare you. Yeah. It felt that way. It felt like a silent, like, yeah, yeah, I know, or watch me own this person or destroy them. They can't debate me. And when you make somebody feel stupid, even if you are in the right, right? Even if you are in the right, if you make somebody feel a certain kind of way, they're going to react. It's simple as that. I hate to put it that way. And again, I know some people are going to watch the replay and be like, 82, you put all of this on the actual victim. How dare you? Listen, I'm here to explain both sides. But we're not going to act like Savannah didn't get what she asked for in the form of, hey, now I got content. Now my stock has been raised. Now I get to go on these platforms and talk about how these liberals are so angry and aggressive. Trust me, you're going to start seeing them. You're going to start seeing more of that. This is just kind of one off, but you're going to start seeing more of that kind of content. It is what it is. I think Brianna felt ambushed. Yeah, because it was just supposed to be you're right, Nene. It was just supposed to be an interview, and then somehow it turned into this whole antagonization. But not just that, it was like this whole debate, and it's all like, wait, I didn't sign up for a debate. Now, I will say, even with the full footage, it doesn't make necessarily Brianna the good guy now, and Brianna is the attacker. It doesn't make her a good guy. Like, I didn't watch that and go like, oh, well, you didn't, you were right to punch her. No, you were wrong. You did not have to put your hands on that woman. And she don't even look like a fighter. You beating up somebody that you know you can. I don't like when people fight people they know they can beat up. That girl's not a fighter. You knew that. And possibly Brianna could have felt comfortable, like, oh yeah, I know I can whoop her ass. So yeah, I'm a rock her, and yeah, and I ain't gonna feel bad about it. Oh, also something else that I want to mention about Brianna. It's said that her mom address has been doxxed and people been knocking on the door. They've been harassing. Currently, Brianna is in hiding because now this has got a whole bunch of media attention. So, yeah, I feel bad for her family, but your actions, yeah, this was something that was going to go viral. And you have to be better at thinking like there's a camera there. Not saying that if the camera wasn't there, it would be better, right? But there's a camera there. You could have walked away. We can go with you were antagonized and all this stuff. Okay, that's great. That's nice. But you could have walked away in that situation. It wasn't like you were trapped. Y'all was outside. You could have been like, you know what? I'm done. You playing games. I'm out of here. You could have walked away. We still got to hold Brianna accountable. Yeah, we ain't going to let that go. You should have contained yourself and act like an adult and say, hey, respectfully, I'm going to walk away. I think we're done here. Or, hey, I don't want this footage put out. I disagree with it and walked away. Y'all, that video, this whole situation is crazy to me. But again, you guys, let me know what you think about the whole situation. Shout out to the replay crew. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also make sure you guys follow our friend She Paints over on Facebook. She is going to Europe actually later on this month. So you guys get to see her journey. As well as, y'all, be safe out there. Do not walk away. That's the message. If things are getting ugly, walk away. It's not worth it. Especially when it comes to people harassing you and messing with your family now because you don't put your hands on somebody and you should have kept your hands to yourself. Be careful out there, y'all. I know a lot of you guys have been wondering, who is She Paints? Where does she come from? Well, she is a Jill of all trades. She's literally an artist, a painter, a travel vlogger. Get to know She Paints on Facebook. She's actually going to Europe. You get to see London, Paris, Amsterdam, the world through her eyes. Have you ever been afraid to travel the world and been like, oh, I don't know how this is? Well, you have your opportunity to see how it is through the eyes of She Paints. Make sure you guys follow her on Facebook right now because you don't want to miss her journey through Europe. You are going to be in for a treat. I promise.